Observe a major port terminal. Thousands of containers move through a high-speed grid, governed by a logic preventing the facility from grinding to a halt. Behind this physical movement is a layer of intentional cross-functional decision-making. While many associate management with supervising warehouse staff or daily trucking schedules, those are merely the final outputs of a much larger system. True supply chain management is the orchestration of independent organizations. It requires deliberate decision-making under severe constraints to align every partner in the chain. This orchestration governs three specific flows: materials moving forward, information moving in both directions, and money moving backward. Governing these flows effectively requires a continuous, structured logic loop. Relying solely on operational execution forces a company into localized firefighting, where every delay becomes a crisis without system-wide control to absorb the shock. This hierarchy is rigid. Strategic design must precede tactical planning. As the rule states, you cannot plan a system that has not been designed. A common error is initiating efforts at the planning stage, treating the existing network as unchangeable. When design is skipped, planners spend their time trying to optimize a structurally flawed system, like trying to find the fastest route through a city that has no highways. The governance of a supply chain follows a 5-stage loop: design, plan, execute, monitor and control, and finally, improve. We will deconstruct how each phase provides the necessary constraints for the next, preventing misalignment. Respecting this sequence allows a company to move from reactive survival to functional orchestration. We begin with strategic design. The design phase answers a foundational question: what system should we build? These are long-term structural decisions. They include where to build facilities, whether to outsource production, and exactly where to place decoupling points to balance cost against speed. Within that structural framework, we move to tactical planning. Planning answers the question: how should this specific system operate over the coming months? This phase translates the high-level design into feasible actions, such as sales and operations planning and capacity balancing. Planning is strictly limited to the physical and financial constraints established in the design phase. This means even a perfect S&OP process cannot fix the high freight costs or long lead times inherent in a poorly designed network. The third node is operational execution. Execution asks, are we doing what we plan to do? This is the phase where tangible value is delivered to the customer through the physical acts of procurement, warehousing, and fulfillment. Execution teams follow the parameters set by planning. They are the doers of the system, not the strategists. Next is monitor and control. Control answers an analytical question: is reality deviating from our plan and our original intent? In this context, control functions as an objective, system-level feedback mechanism. To gain this feedback, we use metrics like on-time in-full delivery rates and inventory turnover to spot exactly where the system slips. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Without these metrics, leadership has no visibility into where the logic loop breaks. These 5 stages operate as a single, unified governing mechanism, concluding with continuous improvement. The improve phase answers the final question: what must change? Modern supply chains are learning systems. They must adapt their rules and structures faster than market volatility can disrupt them. The logic loop is completed by routing feedback backward along 3 distinct paths, depending on the severity of the problem. Small, isolated variances trigger a short feedback loop to correct specific execution actions. Repeated, systemic deviations require a medium feedback loop to adjust the formal planning rules and parameters. Fundamental failures, such as a supplier consistently failing to meet lead times, demand a loop back to redesign the physical supply chain itself. Categorizing problems into these paths prevents leaders from applying tactical patches to deep structural issues. This framework provides a governing logic for the entire organization. To summarize, design defines the system, planning runs the system, execution moves the system, while control stabilizes it. Continuous improvement allows the system to evolve to meet new market realities. Ultimately, executing a flawed plan or planning a flawed design results in cascading delivery delays and entirely wasted capital. Supply chain management is the governance of this entire logical cycle. Mastering the loop is how a business outpaces disruption.